So good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to our October 30th Town Council meeting. We have a full house tonight because on our agenda this evening, what is on our agenda this evening is a presentation, a proclamation that we'd like to present to all of our volunteers in our community. Madam Clerk, I'm going to ask Madam Clerk to start the meeting.
This is to inform the general public that this meeting is being held in compliance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. The annual notice was emailed to the Star Ledger and filed in the Township Clerk's office on October 25, 2017, and published in the West Orange Chronicle on November 2, 2017. Councilwoman Castellino? Present. Councilman Cirillo? Present. Councilman Guarino?
Present.
Councilman Krokoviac?
Present.
Council President McCartney?
Present. Thank you, Madam Clerk. I guess I was trying to warm up. We started outside, and I wanted to thank the Human Relations Commission. Just as lives were abruptly cut short this weekend, we abruptly put this ceremony together to respect, actually mourn people in our community and to show our respect to everyone. And when you think about it, was a baby naming ceremony that was cut short. And the Tree of Life in the Jewish culture, in their thought, prayer, and song, is a symbol of immortality. And it just, I'm using the word abrupt again. And on our program this evening, we are presenting a proclamation for all of our community volunteers. So many volunteers that raise awareness and just keep their special interests alive and well in our community. And tonight was just a beautiful representation of that. So I have a list. I put together a slide presentation here, and I sure hope that I have not left anyone off of this list as far as the volunteers. We have the CERT team volunteers. They'll be in there. Parade Committee, West Orange Animal Welfare League, Friends of the Library, Operation Hope in the Police Department, the Library Board, TNVR, the Planning Board, and the Zoning Board. And I can attest that there are very few pictures of Planning Board meetings, except when we honored Cass for his many years serving on the Planning Board. But typically we don't have those pictures, and Zoning also, unless it's Facebook Live. The West Orange Historic Preservation, Human Relations, Public Relations, Open Space Commission, the West Orange Arts Council, the West Orange Environmental Commission, the Mayor's Program for Individuals with Disabilities, the Pedestrian Safety Commission, the Rent Leveling Board, the Downtown West Orange Alliance, the Military and Veterans Affairs, Auxiliary Police, and the West Orange African American Organization. So through our slide presentation, I'm going to I would like to read this proclamation, and I think I am going to hand it off to Tammy Williams, Chair of the Human Relations Commission, for the outstanding work just emotional work that happened today. Whereas West Orange, New Jersey is a community which acknowledges that a special vibrancy exists within the entire community when its individual citizens collectively go the extra mile, which is what this proclamation is. It's a national recognition of all of you that go that extra mile in personal effort, volunteerism, and service. Whereas West Orange is a community which encourages its citizens to maximize their personal contribution to the community by giving of themselves wholeheartedly and with total effort, commitment, and conviction to their individual ambitions, family, friends, and community. West Orange is a community which chooses to shine a light on and celebrate individuals and organizations within its community who do go that extra mile, and in order to make a difference, to lift up fellow members of their community, which I feel we achieved this evening. Whereas West Orange acknowledges the mission of Extra Mile America to create 575 municipalities in America that is proud to support Extra Mile Day, which is November 1st. Therefore, on behalf of the mayor and my colleagues on the council, we do hereby proclaim November 1st to be Extra Mile Day. I urge each individual in this community to take time on this day to not only go the extra mile in his or her own life, but to also acknowledge all those who are inspirational in their efforts and commitment to make their organizations, families, community, and country, and this world a better place. So we thank you and honor you.
I accept this on behalf of all the volunteers because we are the ones who are the wind beneath their wings to make everything move successfully. Thank you.
Now what? TNBR? Yes, TNBR too. Would anyone like to, would any other chairperson or member of a volunteer organization like to say a few words?
Everyone's so quiet.
Or, yeah, or, yes, please. This is the time. You can increase your membership. You can promote an event. This would be the time to do it.
Okay, well, I'd like to thank West Orange TNVR volunteers, total of about 15 of us now. Fosters, drivers, trappers.
Judith, please introduce yourself. Please, I'm sorry. Can you introduce yourself?
Judy Steer, President, West Orange TNVR, trap, neuter, vaccinate, return, ferals. As of today, we have adopted 307 kittens, and we have trapped 705 ferals, taking 1,012 cats that will no longer be producing in West Orange. Thank you for the honor.
So as many of us are out campaigning, I wanted to thank Judy because this was an ordinance, volunteer efforts that this, you know, here we are going door to door campaigning, and 4 years ago, that was the topic. If you remember, the room was full, not with volunteers, but people that wanted to know how to go about and put this in place. So we thank you for all the efforts and all the volunteers, people that have been helping with the feral cat population. Thank you. Well, would you like to come back and tell people how to donate? Or, you know, you should. I think really this is what this night is all about. People that are going the extra mile, and let people know how they can get involved or what they can do.
Yeah, we're always looking for volunteers, especially fosters. We took in another 5 kittens this week. I mean, they're all adorable. And they do move, as you see, 307 over a period of time, but they do move. How you can donate. You could have things delivered, food, supplies through Chewy or Amazon.com. We have a Facebook page, West Orange TNVR. We have a web page, wotnvr.com. And you could just donate, send a check. PayPal can be used as a donation, whatever pleases you, you know, whether it be food. Well, Amazon Smile, yeah, we are on Amazon Smile, that's right. And right now, until tomorrow, they are doubling their charity donation. Started yesterday and it goes till tomorrow. I had that on Facebook. I don't know if anybody's... 10 times the amount. Okay, 10 times. That's why I have volunteers. They keep me.
There you go.
They keep you in line.
It's a team effort. We know it's a team effort. Yes.
Oh, God, yeah. But, yeah, I'm proud of what we've done. And I couldn't have done it without... Can I read their names?
Absolutely.
Okay, we have Gabrielle, who's a board member, Erin and Brian, who's a team, Sherry, our secretary, Emma and John Michael, they're not here. Not everyone is here tonight, unfortunately. Elizabeth Rogers, Jimmy and Silvana, Debbie, Lingard, Annie, Kimberly, Donna, John, Janice, Cynthia, Tracy, and my recently retired husband, Tom. He's been very
If anyone
helpful.
is here and you would like to come up, our public information officer is here. If you would take a picture of this group, that would be great. Okay. Yeah,
Sure.
Thank you.
thank you. This way we can invite you back next year. Absolutely.
Thank you, Council President. I saw Ken Mandel outside. Ken Mandel is with the
Arts Council?
Arts Council, right? But he started the film
Society.
Mariah, the Mariah Film
The film
Festival for the
society.
last 14 years, and he's being honored on November 9th. So and it's also a fundraiser. And look, everyone's so shy today. Everyone's so quiet today. I don't know if it was the ceremony outside, but what it was, and that tells you that, you know, a lot of the public service that we do in the community efforts that we put out, it's really not for self-gain, but rather for community. And a lot of us are very, myself included, very shy. Like, it's so hard to get up there. It's so hard to speak on these microphones sometimes about the work that we do. But you are truly special. It's why we find West Orange to be the special community that it is. For the last 20 years that I've lived here, that's one of the most amazing things, the level of community service. And it's been so many people over the years, as some of us that have been around, you know, for generations, and it's really appreciated. What was said outside about West Orange being such a microcosm of America, I really felt it, yes, outside, and it really touched my heart. And you know, in recognition of this extra mile, I just want to thank you, and I just want to encourage you not to be so shy about what it is that you do. We have so many different organizations, and I just smile every time I look at some of you, because I'm familiar with the work, the hard work, whether it be the, you know, we have some Friday nights, Saturday nights, we're out there, Environmental Commission, Zoning Board, CERT is out there whenever there's an emergency. During Sandy, we were out there. Whenever the trees fall, there's someone out there. We all come together as a community, whether it be arts related, whether it be related to pedestrian safety. You all do so much to make these spaces special, to make West Orange such a special place. So don't be shy. You know, just come up and be recognized. And this is all us. You're amongst neighbors, you're amongst family here in West Orange. So thank you for what you do. And Ken Mandel, I didn't forget about you. Again, it's November 9th, West Orange Arts Council, Friday night. He's going to be recognized for his 14 year for the 14 years that the festival has been going on, and it's also a fundraiser for the Arts Council. So again, don't be shy. Come up here, tell us about the work that you do, and please let the community know as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, all right. Welcome. She's not shy.
I'm not a volunteer, and I'm here because I'm related to several volunteers, but my name is Laura Wegner, and I've been a resident of West Orange for 26 and a half years, and I just want to say thank you to all of you volunteers, because you make our lives as residents better. You improve the quality of our community, as do you all. And I know that it's not easy to be a volunteer, because I've been one for many years, and it's usually a thankless job. So thank you, because you make a difference to us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura.
Mr. Steele.
Hi, my name is Ken Steele. I'm the director of CERT in West Orange. Just a couple of things. I was at a meeting where they said that there are a lot of organizations where there are volunteers that are not a diverse organization. I'd love everybody to join our group. We are 100% diverse. Thursday, November 15th, we have a meeting. It'll be at Firehouse number 5 at 25 Mount Pleasant Avenue. And we're always looking for new members. Thank you.
And if anyone doesn't know, that acronym CERT stands for Community Emergency Response Team.
Joe's.
Welcome. Yeah.
Councilman. Good evening.
Good evening.
Joe Brennan. I'm here on behalf of the Vietnam and Military Affairs Committee. I would like to invite everyone to our ceremony on November 11th at 11 o'clock. 11:11 actually. This year it's especially important for those of you who are too young to remember. It's the 100th anniversary of the end of the war to end all wars. We know that's a lie. We know that wars are continuing to this day, and our sons and daughters are sacrificing. As a Vietnam veteran, I know what that sacrifice is. I volunteered. I was young and stupid. Now I'm old and stupid. But I urge everyone to come out on that day to honor the veterans, living and dead. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Hi, everybody. I'm Megan Brill from the Downtown Alliance. I wasn't going to say anything tonight because I was cleaning out the jail cell all day today, and I was going to run home and change, and it was 6 o'clock before I knew it. So I think I have the best volunteers on the planet that work with the Downtown Alliance. I'm sure you all are great, but these folks meet regularly every single month, and then some. We meet for breakfast, we meet for dinner, we all hang out together and really are improving Main Street and the corridor. There's a few of you, stand up real quick. We got Krista, who's like our newest member, Sheree, Mike Brick. We had a few folks that, you all are rock stars and you make my job so much easier. And Jerry too, right? Jerry's on our board. Thank you all.
Thank you.
May I say something?
Sure. I see library people here, though. If anyone from the library would like to say a few words.
Jerry, you don't want to speak?
No, I like that.
I don't think he... Oh, welcome, Lisa.
Lisa Tuzo, Vice President of the West Orange Public Library Board. The library exists for one reason, to help everyone in this town. If it wasn't for the people in West Orange, there would be no purpose for the library. Many of you know libraries are my life. I am a library media specialist. I am on the board, reading, and a love of learning, a love of expanding your imagination, is everything the library is about. I'd like to thank those that work, those that come, and if you don't come down to the library. There's a lot going on.
Thank you. There you go.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jerry Sweeney. I'm the president of the Friends of the West Orange Public Library. I have to say, and I'm here to endorse the comments about the library is the center of the community. And we need volunteers too. We need friends to support it, and we need council members and others to support the library. But I want to say something more general about volunteers. Communities these days cannot function without volunteers, and that includes the town council members who are also volunteers. They're not paid employees. They're spending lots of time. Everyone in all of our organizations in this town work to make it better, and without people volunteering, the town would be nothing, wouldn't be anything of the kind of community that it is. So I speak more for volunteers generally. It's really important, and we all know we can't afford to pay for all the things we want. We need people to step up in all activities. Thank you.
Thank you. You'll have to explain which hat you're wearing when you come.
Hi, Suzanne Pinnell. I am fortunate to be a member of the Human Relations Commission, and under Tammy's leadership, I have to say, as evidenced just by this evening's gathering, there are many times that we seem to be called to help gather us together, bind us closer, and remind us that we are West Orange, but we're also a family. And it's important. The meetings are the fourth Monday of the month, and you can come and be a part of it. It's not like you have to sit on the outside and just be quiet. Please volunteer, say what you feel like you need to share with us, and let us know through Facebook and other means to anything that is of concern to you that would be something that we could help. I actually also, just sitting here, actually heard about the veterans and military, and since my son has just been deployed, I would like to help in any way that I could with that group of wonderful people. So I actually learned something else tonight too. And yes, volunteers, there's a lot of volunteering that I do outside of the town, but I'm so grateful that there are so many opportunities within our town. It's 20 years now I'm here, and I'm so grateful that we chose to turn on Fairview Avenue and say, that's the house. So thank you.
Your son and your husband.
Chair of the Environmental Commission? You have 1 minute.
I'm always being warned because I'm so shy. Mike Brick, Chair of the Environmental Commission, living in town 45 years. And our group, Linda Stiles is here. Is there anyone else from the Environmental Commission here? No? Oh, Susan, that's right. Well, we had a meeting last night, and it was a really good meeting about helping Essex Green do the best possible job for redeveloping it. It's not a tax situation. They're just doing it to grow into the next 50 years. And we had people in town that were interested in it, and we all worked together, and we're going to bring Rutgers into it and come up with some really good ideas. Their engineer is receptive to it, and it's an example of how volunteers who come together can make a difference with a large development that seems to be hands-off, but really it's hands-on if you do it right. So I want to thank all our group. We have Nick Solis, who is in town as a town employee. We have our forester, John Linson. We have other volunteers with it. And it's a pleasure to be able to make a difference in something that's so important as the Essex Green evolution. So I just wanted everybody to know that. Thank you.
Thank you. Those are auxiliary police officers skipping out the back door. If you wanted to say anything before you left. Yes, please.
Hello everyone, my name is Zedric Pastolero, and I am a proud auxiliary of the West Orange Police Department.
Yay.
I have had the opportunity to serve such a wonderful community for a little over a year now, and within that year, it's everything that I hoped it would be. I get to take a direct role in serving the community. I work with police officers. I meet many new and wonderful people, and sorry, just drew a blank, but I'm a little bit nervous.
You're doing great. You're doing great. And we're proud of you serving on the auxiliary police.
Thank you. And I'm not going to lie, the first time I had the opportunity to drive a patrol car, I was very ecstatic. And I've learned a lot because I am interested in working in the law enforcement field. And I hope to continue to serve you all. And serving this community, this fantastic community, has been a wonderful pleasure. And I'd like to thank you all.
Rosary Morelli, and I'm an elder senior citizen. I'm here to talk about the volunteers that volunteering senior citizens do. We did a program, an intergenerational program with the 5th graders at Redwood School. And we asked the kids, what do you think senior citizens do? They said they retire and collect a pension. So we had to show them they were wrong, because we had 5 senior citizens who talked about the volunteer work they do. These kids were awed. They got wide-eyed. They couldn't believe what we do. And we told them we do this without getting paid. So there are seniors out there who don't belong to formal groups, but they're volunteering and helping people every day. And I'm proud to be one of them.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah. They have to go. Good night.
My name is Carolyn Perkowski, and I'm a member of Operation Hope.
Use the microphone.
And it's a great, I'm sorry, can you hear me? It's a great organization that helps anyone who would like to turn in their drugs with this opioid problem that we are having. And then we're called Angels, and we come down and interview them, and we try to get them placed into a rehab place to try to help them clean up. Susan's on it with me, Rosary's on it with me, and we can certainly use many more volunteers. You only give about 24 hours a month, more if you'd like to, and it's whatever you'd like to do, whatever day you'd like, whatever time you like, and they will place you on there, and just for help. And it's very rewarding. It's very rewarding. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you. Abe. He's not shy either. Hey.
This is so I don't break my neck. My name's Abe Bunis, and I've been fortunate to live in West Orange for the past 12 plus years, here with my wife and my daughter and her family. One of the things that drove me to rise is that it's been my good fortune to have been a member of 2 very important volunteer organizations. The first being the Open Space Commission, and the second being a group that was not mentioned this evening, and that is the Juvenile Conference Committee. The Juvenile Conference Committee exists in West Orange to get in the middle of juveniles that may have steered themselves the wrong way, whether by one inference or another. And the committee seeks to act as a kind of reclaimer. Together with the police department, the committee works to help juveniles become citizens rather than into the system. And while we exist, or I am no longer a member, while the committee existed, while I was a member, we sought to reclaim young people, increase their performance in school, and deal with any violations that they've occurred or received, and get them back onto the right path. Often they are not recognized And I'm seeking this evening just to interfere and tell you that they exist and are doing very well. Thank you.
Thank you, Wade. I see members of the zoning board saying goodnight. They meet the third Thursday of every month.
Can we invite everybody to come?
There you go.
Give you 5 minutes of fame.
And my colleagues on the planning board are here as well. And we meet the first Wednesday of every month here in council chambers. Thank you. I think we're to say goodnight and thank you for everyone to come out, be in our prayers on November 1st and every day. And thank you for your volunteerism.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jack, is an update on redevelopment. We know leases are being signed, and anything to report.
Yeah, they have about 35 units rented now in the Battery Building, and they're moving along very strongly.
Use the microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry. They have about 35 units rented as of today. From last I talked to them this morning, and they have some other COs that they have that people have rented, but they're not in the building yet. What else? Their taxes have been paid up to date, not just up to date, but they paid the fourth quarter. And I'm happy to say that the taxpayers made $1,800 on their interest. So that helped us out a little bit.
Figure that out?
The only other thing is their proposal for phase 2. I spoke to them today again. They're still working on that, and they're hoping to have it done by either mid-November or by the end of November.
Phase 2.
Yeah, phase 2 of the redevelopment. They have to submit the proposal to the planning board. And that's it.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Question?
If I could, I wanted to thank Mr. Gross for sending over the pilot calculation. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to take a look at it, so maybe we can discuss it at the next council meeting. I just wanted to ask a quick question, make sure I understand. I join you in rejoicing that PRISM has paid their delinquent third quarter and actually paid ahead on their fourth quarter on 55 Lakeside Avenue. But I just wanted to ask you about the numbers there, because the tax payments that they actually made is roughly 50% in the third quarter of this year of what they paid in the third quarter of last year.
I don't know what you're talking about, to be honest with you. I spoke to the tax collector today. She said they're up to date for this year, for this quarter, and then last quarter, and they paid $1,840, I think, in interest.
Last year in the third quarter, PRISM paid on 55 Lakeside a little less than $84,500, and in the same quarter this year they paid $42,500, which was roughly a 50% cut.
I have no idea why.
That has to do with the conversion from the pilot, from taxes to the pilot.
But no, this is for phase 2.
Okay, oh, I'm sorry.
Phase 2. No, this is 55 Lakeside, which is in the phase 2 area.
I know they had a tax appeal, but would that have been part of the tax appeal?
If they had a tax appeal last year,
yeah.
They would have paid, their first 2 quarter billing was prior to the tax appeal. So you would have paid more the first. You pay more the first half.
I'm not sure if that's the reason.
And you get made up whole in the second half. So that's probably, I haven't looked at that. So.
Okay. Yeah, because that's what I thought too. The property at 55 Lakeside was assessed at $10 million last year. Now, after the tax appeal, it's valued at $7 million.
That sounds right.
Okay.
That makes sense. Because they would still have paid their first 2 payments. Which was from last year's tax bill prior to the appeal. So the first 2 quarters were overstated, so the last 2 quarters then would be lower.
Okay. Yeah, because that's what I was going to ask you about, because the assessed value of that property declined 30%, but the decline in the actual tax payment for the third quarter declined by 50%. Does that?
Because they overpay, you know, they
Overpaid in the first
overpaid
two
so
quarters.
much.
Okay.
So if you look at the total that they paid, you'll see that's going to equate out to the 30% drop.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any comments?
Council President, just
Yes,
one
sir.
question. Mr. Sherris, Mr. Gray, any news on commercial rentals in the retail area?
No.
No.
All they keep telling me is they have 3 or 4 clients, but they do not want to release who those clients are yet.
I can tell you, in this type of redevelopment situation, you really don't see the retail come along until there's sufficient people living within the facility. Because, it's chicken and egg. Do the people come first or the business come? Well, people come first.
And they want to see their market base.
Sure, they need to be able to, the businesses are not going to come in on the fly. They're going to wait until they're the build out. And based on the absorption rate that we're seeing, that shouldn't be too much longer.
Okay. And any forecast on percentages of the building being filled?
Well, they're realistically looking like it's well over 10 to 12 absorption rate now, and maybe they'll go as high as 15. That's pretty good. So per month. That's kind of
Excellent.
All right. Thank you.
New Jersey Transit is telling us the same thing on Central Avenue, that when they see the population, then we'll look at the station. Any other council liaison?
Oh, Council liaison, okay.
Yes, just a couple of meetings. The Open Space Committee is meeting on November 7th. We're going to be reviewing the property appraisals for 4 open space property acquisition candidates on Ridge Road and Prospect Avenue. That's at 7 o'clock on November 7th in the second floor conference room. On November 14th, there will be a meeting of the Historic Preservation Commission. That will also be at 7 o'clock in the evening at the same conference room on the second floor.
Thank you. Councilman, I know you're so excited to talk about this.
Thank you, Council
certificate.
President. Thank you to my colleagues. First, just want to say we had a tremendous meeting last week of our West Orange Pedestrian Safety Advisory Board. We had some good presentations. Linda, thank you for coming and sharing your inputs about Route 10, Mount Pleasant Avenue, and the dangerous dead man's curve. So we're working on that. The 15 points, which I also need to give to the county, based on conversation at our meeting, I'm rewriting them to put in specifics. Instead of just being general, we're going to add some specifics to each one of our 15 points, which do include lighting, pedestrian lighting, signage, roadway, equipment, enforcement. So we're bringing it all, what cooperation we're looking for the county. My board members felt we needed to put a little bit more specifics in. So once we finish with those specifics, we'll be able to produce them to the general public and, of course, to the county, which the county is interested in getting our copy of our 15 points. Another thing I'm very proud of the great volunteers on our Pedestrian Safety Advisory Board, and just look at the things that the board has accomplished through its cooperation with the county and the township. But to Lori Kaffner and the parents at Kelly School on Pleasant Valley Way, the Township of West Orange was awarded the Silver Certificate for Safe Routes to School. So we're pushing for gold for next year, but again, we're awarded for our initiative to make walking to school for our students a safe and enjoyable environment, biking or walking. So we got silver this year, so hopefully next year we'll get the gold. Moving on to the Downtown West Orange Alliance, we have great things coming up. Christmas is just around the corner, and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa are just around the corner. So what we have coming up in November, December is, of course, at the new gym at the West Orange Community House. On December 1st, we'll have our open house, which will include the trolley ride, Pictures with Santa, and that'll start around 10 a.m. It's a great way to start the holiday off, get a tour, and you'll listen to us, our council colleagues, talk about the wonderful things of the Township of West Orange, including Llewellyn Park and including the downtown corridor. Also, we have a holiday light contest this year. Business owners will decorate their businesses, and residents will vote on December 21st. And there'll be 5 categories which will be put out on how the contest will be judged. Also, there will be the holidays arts and crafts at the same open house, and it'll be, it's for early birds, which is before November 15th. It'll be $40 for residents, so come out, buy your Christmas and holiday gifts around at the holiday open house and the craft fair, and it's a great time to meet your neighbors and get a good idea. See the new gym at the community house, a great compliment to Paul Cito and the members of the community house board of directors. Also like to do a big shout out for Kia, the owner at Some Good Food at 560 Valley Road, right across the street from Luna Stage and Pink Cupcake. It's some great food. We had a ribbon cutting this past Saturday. Even with the rain, we had a good turnout. She makes a good product. I bought her barbecue sauce, her Korean barbecue sauce for chicken, and it just disappeared overnight. So we're really excited about that. Our next Pedestrian Safety Advisory Board meeting was scheduled for the 7th, but it's going to be moved because we just had it, and we can't have them right on top of the others. So, Madam Clerk, I'm sorry, but I'll be sending you a move date for our meeting, and so you'll be able to put it on the website, and so our residents can come. I do ask people to come. Everybody that does come to our meetings winds up coming back again and again and again, and gets some real information, and they become great volunteers like was discussed tonight. It is volunteers. It's not just us. It's not just people sitting at a council meeting listening. It's the actual volunteers who make everything happen that we want to happen. So other than that, Madam President, that's all I have.
Great. Councilman?
Yeah, I just want to again announce the West Orange Arts Council fundraiser. That is November 9th, Council President, and we're recognizing Ken Mandel, who is an award-winning artist. He's the founder of the Classic Film Festival, which has been around for 14 years. Under that concept, we bring classic films and we put them up on the big screen, and we relive what it's like to see those films on the screen. And Ken does a tremendous job in his committee in picking the right films that makes it very enjoyable. So I hope the community comes out and not only supports Ken, but also the Arts Council. It's going to be exciting. Friday, November 9th. And then also, I just invite the community to Veterans Day. Veterans Day ceremony, 11 a.m., Monday the 12th, and that's in front of Town Hall. It's a very important time to recognize our troops and the folks that continue to fight, who are out there making sure that we enjoy the democracy and the freedoms that America has to offer. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Councilwoman.
Yes, again, thank you to our Human Relations Commission. Tammy, your leadership there. Beautiful ceremony this evening. What was really touching is to see how our clergy has all connected through the township. And we have our police officers in the audience this evening, and that I know directly came out of our police and clergy committee meetings that we had through the past year. So it gave them the opportunity to bond together and to network with each other, and you saw that connection today in our community, which really, really, in this time of need with so many terrible things happening throughout our nation, it's great to see here in West Orange that we could be so connected. I also like to shout out to our recreation department. They did a great job Friday night with our Halloween for little trick-or-treaters in town. Our senior services department today, Patty Duffy and her staff had a lovely party, stopped by at the Toby Cat Center for a Halloween party for our seniors. And there was a great DJ and a magician, so they were all having a good time. Few costumes were worn by our residents. On November 12th, we're going to join with West Orange High School with our Mountaineer Mentors. And we're going to have another Teen Tech Day from 3 to 5, Monday, November 12th. And we're going to have our students assist our seniors with any technology that may have, and also have a session of chair yoga. So anyone interested in going, I have some flyers up here. And our number, please reach our senior citizen coordinator, Ms. Duffy, at 973-325-4105. And transportation, if you should need transportation services, we could arrange. Also, looking forward to November, I just want everyone to put on their calendar Small Business Saturday, will be throughout the township. Shop local as you prepare for the holidays on Saturday, November 24th. The next day, we're going to try something new and exciting with the Recreation Department. Last year, we had Santa drive around on the fire truck throughout the township. This year, he'll be visiting early, right after Thanksgiving on that Sunday of Thanksgiving weekend, and he'll be stopping by all of our grammar schools. So we look forward to that event as well. A lot of great things coming up in the holiday months, and we're looking forward to getting it out there to all our residents to come. One last point with our volunteers this evening, and it was great to see so many faces, but when I look in the audience, the one thing I notice is that there's so many volunteers that wear different hats with different committees and are very active. So I hope tonight inspired everyone to come sign up, go on our township website. There's so many, as the council president mentioned this evening, there's so many organizations to get involved in. And what's been exciting is opportunities to meet new friends and new residents in town. So we're a big township of 48,000 people, but we try to, be like Mayberry here. And hopefully everyone could come join us and get involved in the township. Council President.
Thank you. And to follow up on your holiday open house, also the tree lighting is also that day on December 1st at 4 o'clock. Mark your calendars also for the Thanksgiving luncheon for the West Orange Chamber of Commerce. This will be at noon on November 1st, Wednesday before Thanksgiving at Mayfair Farms. The guest speaker this year will be Bill Keegan. He's the founder and president of Heart 911. Tickets are available at www.westorangechamber.com. And thank you again to Tammy Williams and the Human Relations Commission team for the work that we just experienced today and how that comes together so appropriately. Thank you. Madam Clerk.
This is to inform the general public that this meeting is being held in compliance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. The annual notice was emailed to the Star Ledger and filed in the Township Clerk's office on October 25, 2017, and published in the West Orange Chronicle on November 2, 2017. Councilwoman Castellino?
Present.
Councilman Cirillo?
Present.
Councilman Guarino?
Present.
Councilman Kukoviac?
Present.
Council President McCartney?
Present.
Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The council is now in their public meeting.
Thank you all for your patience this evening. We are an hour behind on our agenda for public comment, which is now. Welcome.
Good evening. Michael Cassidy, President of the West Orange Police Department Superior Officers Association. I'd also like to thank Essex County Sheriff's Office, Local 183, for joining us here this evening. And Officer Chris Jasek, who's the president of PBA, unfortunately had a family issue that precluded him from being here tonight. The PBA and SOA are also proud to be property owners in the Township's Special Improvement District, which also means that every member of the West Orange PBA SOA is a West Orange taxpayer. We are reaching out to the Township at this time last year to begin the negotiations process. We have attempted to act in good faith. We really don't want to be here appearing before the council asking for assistance and bringing the Township to the table in good faith as required by law. Our attorney spoke on behalf of the council last council meeting. We requested to have a meeting set up the next day and were informed that they would get back to us. On Monday, October 22nd, we called to see if the Township had any dates that they were willing to meet. We were met with the usual, I forgot. It was at that point that we began our public campaign authorizing the release of our signs to be published and getting our lawn signs distributed. We'd like to first thank all the residents and business owners who have been reaching out to us, and we look forward to continuing our conversations about the treatment of not only the West Orange Police Department, but all of our public employees, many who are scared to speak out in fear of retribution. The township employees are easy to scrutinize. We're a line item in the budget. We make an easy target to blame the township's financial problems on. It is what you don't see that everyone in this room should really make you nervous. In response to our campaign, the township issued a press release on contract negotiations. We feel that this statement is misleading. The first thing we notice is the township states that a patrolman makes $107,943 after 7 full years of service. This is false. The real number is $90,994 for any officer hired after February 28, 2014. How could the township inflate the salary by almost $17,000? Next, the township wants to highlight our platinum health care costs that are supposedly crippling the township. The officer with 7 years on who has a family plan is paying $9,951.45 a year, or $382.75 per biweekly check towards their health care. The most recent retired member is paying $1,000 a month, in excess of $1,000 a month towards their health care costs, and these are after-tax payments since the township does not participate in the state health care plan. They also fail to mention that officers make pension contributions of 10% of their pensionable salary. West Orange police officers also do not receive Social Security benefits, and for those who have enough qualifying quarters in other employment will have their Social Security benefit greatly reduced under the windfall elimination provision. The township did make a non-negotiable proposal to pay for all active employees' retirement health care costs with salary increases that were far less than any surrounding agency has received. I would have been able to retire under that contract offer, and it would have been extremely beneficial to me. If I were greedy, I would be advocating for it. The truth is, it would devastate the West Orange Police Department. It would lead us to be one of the lowest paying police departments in the county, and the only one where retirees would be responsible for paying 100% of their health care coverage. We did make a counteroffer, which we believe was fair, and less than other Essex County agencies are receiving. I would argue that we were willing to make concessions. We inquired about the perhaps acquiescing to going back into the state health benefits plan, which unfortunately cannot be administered by Fairview Insurance. The renewal rates for 2019 show a significant decrease in the cost of pre-Medicare retiree rates. Every time we bring this up, the township seems perplexed as to why we want to do this. We are willing to discuss this in negotiations. Finally, we take issue with the fact that the township is saying that they decide to stop negotiations. If this is the case, why didn't they tell us that? Instead, they set up a meeting for us on September 28, 2018. After waiting months for the date, we came prepared to talk. The township came into the room only to inform us that the party that could make the decisions wasn't going to be there. We made that date around his schedule, and he didn't show. The township left the meeting, and guess what? They went and had a meeting with another union. I transferred from another agency in 2002, and the number one reason I came here was due to substantial pay increase. 2 of my academy classmates from the same agency followed me here, and another 2 went on to another agency. Remember, there is no savings with the original non-negotiable offer for nearly 30 years. How much will it cost the township to train new officers when it becomes a revolving door where we pay to train officers only to have them leave for better paying agencies? It's happening right now with our communications officers. We're asking you, the West Orange Township Council, to request the township to come to the table and begin to negotiate in good faith. The township cannot continue to make take it or leave it demands. We are more than willing to sit down and talk about these issues. This is the only way to ensure that. The West Orange PBA and SOA plan on having town hall style meetings so we can further discuss this complicated matter. Please feel free to contact me at mcassidy, that's C-A-S-S-I-D-Y, at westorangebba.com if you'd be interested in attending one of those sessions. We will also try to answer all your questions you may have with pensions, benefits, and waste in the municipal budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Any other public comment? Yes, ma'am. Bob, how about ladies first?
Rosary Morelli, Ralph Road. Again, as seniors, I think we make the most demands, especially on for first responders. In the past 3 months, 3 incidents with seniors. Sadly, one of them passed away. But where I was involved with one calling, they responded, they were there in a matter of minutes. The caring, the compassion, the professionalism, we're so fortunate to have a group like that. And I'm sure the seniors, as a fact we're growing in number, will be using you more and more. As far as the senior programs in the survey, the seniors, excuse me, responded they feel very safe in West Orange. I think that says a lot for the protection we get from the police. The Community Services Unit speaks to seniors on a regular basis. They come out and they talk to us at meetings about scams, identity thefts. Seniors are the most vulnerable of all these crimes. So we feel happy, secure, and informed when you come out and speak to us. In addition to the Community Services Unit, I personally have interacted with Chief Abbott. Every time I go to another town, I find another program, I get back to it. Take Me Home program, in fact, I'm trying to get them to partner with the county. It's one of the best around. The database, that whole process. They're looking, Chief Abbott said they went out for a grant for the lockbox. This is where, again, there's an emergency, and people, seniors are in their houses, or disabled people also. They can't get to the door to answer it. The lockbox is something that is a box that's on the door and the doorway, and there's a generic key to these boxes, but there's a key to get in to the house for the specific house. I witnessed, as I said, calling 911. They were there in a matter of minutes, caring. They had to break the door down. So this, if we get the grant, is going to work. It will help seniors and disabled people. I strongly support our police force for the mere fact that I know I rely on them, and so do all the other seniors in town. We thank you. We appreciate what you do. Please continue good work and stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome.
Bob Verzi, 5 Carolina Avenue, West Orange. I am a member of the PBA Local 25, past president, and I've addressed this body before as far as putting cops in the schools. I have not changed my ideas on that issue. I had some family issues and I haven't been able to follow through with that. But I assume we'll be contacted. I talked to some people here, and I talked to the board, the head of the Board of Education. He didn't return my calls, so now he's resigning, and I think that's probably why. Yeah. Now I woke up this morning, and there was a sign on my lawn about contracts. I didn't know the contracts were being negotiated. I just wanted to lend my assistance to Mike and the membership if they need it. I just wanted to remind them that in 1989 we settled medical benefits by contract. Article 20, Section 5 of the contract I retired on says, the township shall pass the necessary resolution to the state health benefits for participation in paid hospitalization for eligible retired members per rules and regulations of the state health benefits to be effective January 1st, 1989. That was the contract until Chris Christie came in and decided to change some laws. Well, Chris Christie's gone, and as far as I'm concerned, this contract is still in effect. It never was negotiated out. It was taken away by, some would say, a corrupt Republican administration. So if it would help, it says in here specifically that for retired members, go to the state health benefit program. Now, I know you can leave the contract at any time you want, but you can always go back to the contract. If it benefits the town by going to United, the health plan that you're on now, you should share that with the membership. If not, go back to the state. And if it helps Mike and the membership, I'll have 20 names on an unfair labor tomorrow saying, we want to go back to the state program. We allowed you to leave the state program to get a cheaper rate. We understand that. But we always can go back to the contract. Ken Kaiser's here. I know he'll agree with me. You can always go back to the contract. We argued this before when I was president. That's okay. We argued this before when I was president, and we won it. So my position is, if Mike wants, if he helps his membership, I'll have 20 names on unfair labor from retired members, and I want you to go back to the state plan. This should not even be up for negotiation. This has nothing to do. Negotiate the numbers. The health plan, the men before 1989, the men and women in here gave their blood and sweat to get those benefits. Now, with a stroke of a pen, everybody's saying you don't have them. Well, that's still in effect. This is a contract. They have it. It's in effect. So that's my position. If it helps them, I will have an unfair labor here, and we'll see what a judge says about it. But I think you have to go back to the contract. It says a state plan. It's not even a negotiable item. Negotiate the money, not the health plan. So if that helps him, I'm going to follow through with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Pat Segalas, Degnan House, Main Street, West Orange. Several months ago, as the council knows, I had written a letter to Linda Vanesi regarding our voting poll. I have since received a message, or I should say a letter back from Ms. Vanesi. And it says, I am in receipt of your letter regarding the polling place that is assigned to senior citizens living at the Degnan House in West Orange. I most certainly understand your frustration on having to travel across Main Street to Edison Middle School when you have another polling place directly next to your building. However, for the upcoming election being held on November 6, 2018, voting facilities are under contract and therefore cannot be changed. I assure you this will be evaluated for voting in 2019. In the meantime, I will reach out to the West Orange Township officials and try to arrange for transportation from the Degnan House on Election Day. I will get back to you with more information prior to Election Day. Thank you so much for your letter. Please do not think that this office does not care for the disabled or the senior voters of Essex County. All voters and votes count. Have a wonderful day. And she copies the Honorable Robert Parisi, Mayor, Honorable Jack Sayers, Business Administrator, and Honorable Karen Carnival, Township Clerk. Okay, so to date, today's mail, snail or email, I have not received any information regarding any kind of transportation. I had reached out to Councilman Cirillo back in August after having him acknowledge to the council and to us in this room that he did in fact receive my letter. And it amuses me because nothing was ever done. And also that the fact that I did in fact email him again and thank him for acknowledging this letter and also asking if he could possibly give us some help. To me, it seems like this was ignored because I have never heard anything back from Councilman Cirillo. I see in the newspaper where he does in fact contribute towards his Newark contingency, yet he does not care for the seniors, where he is the director.
We're going to, yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you.
Just that he is the director in the
Right,
Degnan
that's
House.
his full-time job.
Right,
Right, that's his full-time job.
Council President, she still has more than 2 minutes
Okay,
on her.
well, you can
on her-
finish, but we're
You
really
should
not
not
here
be
to-
interrupting her. She should be able to say. She have to say.
Yourself. We are not here to publicly humiliate anyone. That has happened before. We're not.
Well,
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry, but I'm just...
That's his
with my
full-time job.
opinion.
You're right. That's, thank you. Thank you. Welcome.
Hi, Debbie Selinardi, Virginia Avenue, also the director of Degnan House. The last thing I want to do is get up in front of everybody at this microphone. But I have been in contact with Victor, and he is going to have transportation like he always does from Degnan House to Edison Middle School for the few seniors that still vote. Most of the seniors at Degnan House do absentee ballots. So what was just said is incorrect. I can show you my messages with Victor, also Susan and Mayor Parisi, always have transportation at Degnan House. I post flyers. They come back and forth all day long. It's not a certain time. They drive my seniors, who I care about a lot, to the polls for every election.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other comments? No. Seeing none, we'll close public comment. And Councilman.
Yeah, I can start.
Please.
Yeah. Sure. To the police officers, and I don't want to repeat, the compliments that we shared last time. We do have, with your lead, Council President, we do have an executive session today. As you know, our role is really to ratify whatever contractual agreement is entered into with the administration and your leadership. So we don't have the level of involvement at this stage, but just know that with respect to supporting your initiatives, we're there, and hopefully today we can find out some of the facts. We can ask tough questions, in executive session with respect to the health coverages and matters of that sort. So we're listening and we're paying attention. It's just that right now, again, we're not part of the discussion process. Can we lobby and urge the administration to sit down with membership and continue conversations? Yes. So today we're really going to get a thorough understanding of what's going on as a follow-up to your presence last time. Ms. Sagales, it's a little bit sensitive as it relates to extending rides because I'm up for re-election, but I'm sure that the administration can make rides available. I don't want to do that because I don't want to give the impression that there is some sort of favoritism. So I urge the administration to possibly take that on. I did receive requests from the Degnan House about providing rides. It's something that I've been doing since I was in my early 20s and teens. It's important for folks to have the ability to get to the falls. I remember going out in the rainfalls, just getting folks to come out and making sure that they have the ability to participate. So you still have my commitment that that's going to happen. Ms. Morelli, thank you for what you do for our seniors and for coming up with proposals. And you're right, whether it be our police officers or our firemen, they're important components of caring for our seniors. And we have to make sure we recognize that when the time is right. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Comment, Joe?
I'm not ready yet, I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I'll address the police too. Mike, we spoke last week. Pretty much, we also want a fair and reasonable contract for you. We all know how highly skilled and trained and professional you are. And as Victor said, the executive session, we are not We don't know the status of the negotiations. We haven't heard that. So I felt that this was premature to come back because that's on our agenda this evening, which is what I explained to you. You know that we do appreciate all the comments that were made. We understand the professionalism and the level of expertise that all of you display, and we will do what we can to hear you and to hear the administration for negotiations. And Mrs. Sagalas, I don't know if she's still here, the same thing with transportation. We have always provided transportation. I have volunteers that take the day off to purposely drive people to the polls. And there are over 3,000 people that have voted for mail. That are record numbers this year for mail-in ballots. So we are available, and I thank Debbie Selinardi for coming out today to advocate on that behalf, on behalf of Degnan House. And Bob, too. You're such an advocate. Thank you. Thank you for coming out. And I remember when we did change the Garden State health plan, and it always had to be same or, I'm sorry, it always had to be same or better, and that will continue. I'm just saying that anything we do in regards to health benefits will always be the same or better, which is why we changed it the first time around. So we'll look again during negotiations. Ready?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Council President. I want to say thank you to Mr. Cassidy for coming in and speaking so eloquently, and also providing the council as well as the audience a lot of relevant information and your perspective on the negotiations. It's very helpful up here in the council because, as you know, we really don't know what's going on. The administration has not informed us about the status of the negotiations, but after you arrived at the last council meeting, we determined to have an executive session, so hopefully we will get a much better understanding. I appreciate the reference to the tenet of negotiations, of labor negotiations law in this country about negotiating in good faith, and I hope that's what's going on. I appreciate Ms. Selinardi coming up and speaking, because it seems to have cleared up a serious communication problem. Ms. Sagalas appears to have done everything the right way to get the information about how to get to the polls, and I think now, hopefully, things are clear. I don't know why, she couldn't find out more from the sources of information that we heard tonight, but I hope that has clarified things. But I do have to say that it appeared to me that the council president was interrupting a resident while she was trying to speak well within her 5 minutes, and I just don't think that's appropriate. Even if you disagree with her, or even if you want to respond or to correct something she says, I still don't think it's appropriate for you to interrupt her. We should let them speak. They have the right, and then we can respond.
Right.
And I apologize for
interrupting me.
Yes.
Thank you. We're not here to publicly humiliate anyone.
No, and I don't think she was. I don't think she was trying to, but I think she made a pretty good case that she had the right to speak.
Thank you.
Ms. Morelli, again, thank you for speaking out on issues of concern to our community. And just a reminder, I think, as Mr. Cassidy said, it's not just the police, it's not just the 2 police unions, it's not just the 2 fire unions that are out of contract. All of our employees are out of contract, and they've been out of contract since the end of last year. And I think we should be trying to move forward on that, on reaching an agreement just as quickly as possible. It's not good for morale. It's distracting to a lot of people, and we also have financial considerations with the annual 2% tax levy cap that we need to keep in mind too. So thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight.
Thank you. Councilman?
Councilman, and I'll go last.
Okay, so I want to thank Debbie Salnardi for coming up here to clarify whatever miscommunication was going on there for years, going back to the days of Mr. Albanese always working with so many at the Degnan House to arrange for transportation. And even with our senior events, Debbie has always, I know, been posting them. So I don't understand where there could be a disconnect, because Debbie's been doing an outstanding job, and we want to thank her. And we, I know, Council President, you jumped in because it was a personal attack to our colleague, and it's a shame we had to have one this evening, especially after that beautiful ceremony we had about peace and love outside before the meeting started. So. But folks get excited, and it's election season. So, hopefully after next week we could go back to normal. Our officers, I commend you for coming here in such orderly fashion, for speaking so eloquently. Contract negotiations are really tough. I look forward to executive session. I know I've been asking questions prior to then, because I knew that you were in this stage of the game. Hopefully something will be resolved sooner than later. And one of the comments I just want to touch, or actually two of the comments I want to touch upon. Don't feel when salary and benefits are mentioned, especially benefits, because unfortunately, and the employee shouldn't take it personally. I know sometimes things are said and feelings, it's emotional time when you're involved in contractual negotiations. But with the nation, what's going on nationally, and with the cost of health care, and we hope that our Congress could address it, because we shouldn't be here as a local community having to have these kind of stressful negotiations. So hopefully they'll do what they need to do to get this in check, because being not before my time here, but being on the school board for the 10 years, just seeing the costs escalate and get out of control. It's not fair to any one of us in this room, whether the private sector or the public sector. And it shouldn't be tearing communities apart. Bob, it was nice seeing you here this evening. We had chatted about the retired, bring some retired officers to the school, and it's a shame, the superintendent's no longer with us, so we'll have to readdress that with the new administration. But again, it's, tough conversations. Hopefully they'll handle it on a national level, so we'll see some pain lessen here, but you shouldn't feel offended. The facts are the facts. When we go into our budget hearing, some of you come that day and see what we have to do, trying to balance through all the departments in the township, and trying to see some of items mentioned out there in regards of what we spend on, or we could do a better job. We could always do a better job, but we bond a lot of the capital improvements and whatnot, and that wouldn't even be considered in a contractual situation. Also, when we go to executive session, I want to tap into Mr. Kaiser. Chapter 78, from my understanding, is, although it's sunset, that is a negotiable item now, that you don't have to go back to it. It is negotiable. So I just want to, get a handle around that, how that works. So I hope we all hold tight. I'd hate to see what happened, how things became so negative with our school district last year, and I hope that doesn't happen to us here. I mentioned all those community events, and you're also part of it, you and our firefighters, and to have any kind of animosity there between the township and our unions and our first responders would not be a good thing for our township, and we definitely recognize that. So thank you all for coming out tonight and for all that you do for us, and hopefully we'll work our way through this tough time. Council President.
Councilman.
Thank you, Council President, and to my colleagues. To the membership of the West Orange Police Department, your officers and your representatives of PTA, I'm not going to go back out and just say what's been said around here. I'm not going to go back to what I said at the last meeting, thanking you for all the great accomplishments you helped my committees achieve, something that we couldn't have done without the great education that we learned from your members and the support that we get from the police department. You have no bigger fan than myself. And the thing is, I have to comment you on that I am so touched by the courtesy that you're showing the Township Council, even under your stress with your contract renewals and what your needs for your families and for yourselves. And to me, I am so touched that you didn't come up here with vile intent and venom, but you're speaking courteously to us and asking us as professionals to be treated as professionals. And to me, that's a big plus, and that's something we're thankful for, that I'm thankful for, and I personally respect you for it. And I hope after executive session, getting more information that I need as thing is to make the right decisions, something fair and equitable to the department. And you do deserve the courtesy. You're not just people, you're members of the West Orange Police Department, you're employees of the township, you serve and protect the residents of West Orange. And the least that we can do is be the same to you as you've shown in your presentations to the last two council meetings. And I thank you for that personally. And that's all I need to say,
Thank
Council
you.
President.
I will apologize to Mrs. Segalis if I interrupted your public comment time, because in my notes, how I started in my notes when you were speaking was to say that I was commending you for your advocacy for the seniors in the Degnan House to make the voting more convenient for them. In 2013, working with the county clerk and our municipal clerk, I did the same thing to get the voting out of public schools because I felt the schools were standing vulnerable between all the Homeland Security measures and security measures that were put in place back then. So I appreciate the efforts that you did on behalf of the seniors at the Degnan House. Madam Clerk.
Okay. Consent agenda, approval of minutes of previous meeting, public meeting, October 16, 2018.
Consent.
Report of township officers, none. Reading of petitions and communications and bids, none. Bills, are there any questions on the bills?
Consent.
Resolutions, are any resolutions being pulled this evening?
Any questions, resolution? Yes,
Yeah, just,
Councilwoman.
I don't want to pull, but if we could just, Mr. Gross, go over, I know I personally, I had spoken with Mr. Lepore, but, just go over the rebidding of the fire station contracts. I and, what was the other resolution? I and J.
Yes.
I and J.
I'm not sure which, I'm sorry, I don't
There's a
understand your
revised
question.
agenda, so there is no I.
Oh, that's not on there?
No, I was
The
pulled.
revised
Oh, I'm
agenda should be on
sorry.
top of your folder.
I'm sorry.
Just
J's
240.
still there,
J is there, yes.
All right, so I is pulled.
Correct.
No protection from, proposed. Okay, so my question is with the timetable of this.
Well, we're going to go right back, once this, we'll go right back out to bid. After, you know, we will go right back out to bid once the new specs are completed, and move forward. I mean, in terms of actual construction time, it probably will be after the first of the year.
Okay.
Might, and weather may be a consideration there. We're going to try to get it in before, you know. before
Yeah, it
the-
all depends what happens with the weather. Okay. All right, so it will go out right away then. All right. And that was my one
Thank you.
question.
John, let me ask, though, are any of these projects part of the direct install and the PSE&G upgrades?
No,
Yeah, no.
none of this is impacted by that.
Okay, unfortunately. Any other resolutions, questions?
Nope.
Seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The consent agenda is implemented. Ordinances on second and final, we have none. Ordinances on first reading. 2555-18, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 7 Traffic, subsection 7-37.1B, municipal parking yards, metered parking, permit parking, time-limited parking, and 7-23.1, turns restricted of the revised ordinances of West Orange. Is there a motion to introduce on first reading?
So moved.
Councilwoman Castellino?
Yes.
Councilman Cirillo?
Yes.
Councilman Guarino?
Yes.
Councilman Krokoviac?
Yes.
Council President McCartney?
Yes.
Okay. Pending matters, new matters, and council discussion.
Jack, I do have a question on just a discussion that we had with residents where that 6-month trial with the parking on both sides of the streets on Watchung, Watson, right? Residents are asking about street cleaning.
We are working on that, and we knew that was going to be one of the problems.
Okay.
So we're working on it. I've had that discussion with Lenny. We did have a couple calls, and the mayor and I spoke to some people
Right.
also. We are working on a way to figure out how to get that done.
I think when I spoke to Lenny, it was maybe taking a day out.
Well, what
to
we're
have
thinking
alternate
about
sites?
is after, we usually do them early in the morning, so maybe wait till the afternoon. This way, when everybody's out or gone, then we can do one side of the
Okay,
street.
that's another option. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for this discussion.
What street was that?
Council, sorry?
What street are you referring to?
Oh, it was where they're doing the 6-month trial on
Watch
providing parking on both sides of the street.
I'll give you the dates tomorrow. I have them all written in my office.
Watson,
All right, thank you.
right there.
We're doing pending matters?
Pending matters, you
Yes.
have any
Okay.
discussion?
Yes, I have two things from Mr. Sayers. One, if you could, I need a name of the new parking lot at Pleasantdale Center. I know Joe Fagan was working on that. I'm not sure if that
Name
came to...
of what?
Just to name the lot, because on the Public Relations Committee, we're making that booklet.
All right. The
And we
wayfinding
wanted to
sign.
make the center fold be the map of the township with all the parking lots, and we
Correct.
wanted it, we wanted it
I thought
named.
the mayor was working with Joe on that.
Okay, if you could, or I could ask them too, but
Yeah.
if you could just find out with Lenny too.
I'll find out for you.
Okay, because, and then I need, also, we need Mr. Lepore's assistance in generating that map. So if you could just find out for me where we're
Sure.
at with that. And second, in that center, I've got a few complaints from residents right in front of Burger King where there's parking. It's very hard to get out of that driveway. So I don't know. Safely, yes. So if there's any way we could send Mr. Laporte to look at that spot, they're just right in between the two driveways at Burger King to see if we could maybe make that no parking certain times of the day or all day, because it is a hazard, especially if a big truck or van is there. And it's amazing something hasn't occurred yet, but.
Council President, if I can interject on that?
Sure.
Council, it's a county situation, it's being addressed, it's also part of the grant process for what we're going to do to that area, making it more pedestrian-friendly with the shuttle and the pickup zone and everything else. So that's being considered. But the parking, it's that if we take the parking off, it makes it a speedway. So according to our traffic engineers and the traffic engineers on the Pedestrian Safety Advisory Board, when you take that parking off, it opens it up and it becomes a speedway. So we have to work on that and see exactly how we're going to look at the parking situation by Burger King.
Yeah, it's just the one spot. I think it's just one spot in between the two. Or is it two? It's two spots, so.
And
Okay.
I think Mr. Lepore is also looking at a few other spots too, as you're coming out of those driveways all lined up.
Okay, very good.
Great, Councilman.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to get a clarification on this. Councilman Guarino, were you saying that if we took away the 2 parking spots in front of Burger King, that would make a major change in how the traffic safety or the traffic engineering would designate that part of the road?
It opens up the roadway, Councilman, and that's based upon the traffic engineer said, when you take away the cars are actually artificial barriers, and it makes the lane smaller, it condenses everything. So what happens is when you take the parking away, you open that up. Unless you put a barrier in there and force the lane and people over, it opens up so people can fly down, pass on the left, and that's where they have situations of accident. It actually increases the number and of accidents and occurrence. Actually, sorry, I can't say accidents or crashes. So just that, but that's how they look at it, Councilman. And that's just to explain to you why they look very kind of leery when people say, "Well, take the parking off." It opens up the roadway. So they have to look at it. Not that saying it won't be done, but then we have to put something in its place to be like a barrier that would slow the traffic down.
Yeah, the reason I was asking is because, as you know, in that intersection, if you're heading on Pleasant Valley Way south heading north, you come through the intersection with Eagle Rock Avenue, all of those parking spaces on the east side of the street are cars that actually force a change in direction of Pleasant Valley Way. And then once you get past those cars and you get to the Burger King, then you have those additional parking spaces. So I just want to make sure that that was sort of where we were in terms of whether it's just the 2 parking spaces that might make a major change. I just want to flag something else. In the last couple of years, I've come out and actually been on that street when they put these huge buses on there. They're not even school buses. They're the major buses that take, I'm not going to name names, but the commuter buses, that I've seen there. And I think we really need to prohibit those buses from being there at any time.
Your point is very well taken. I didn't mean to take my colleague's time. Your point is very well taken to both of you, and those are things that are being addressed when we're looking at when we go to Pleasant Valley Way. So I'll have more information for you.
Because even if you coming out of Burger King and you prohibited the left turn, because it would be fairly dangerous, you can't even see when you're turning right. If there are cars there, particularly the higher cars like a minivan or a SUV or something, you can't see. It's really difficult. Okay. I'm glad you're looking at it.
No, thank you. Sorry, Councilwoman.
Well, I just want to but there's still parking over by the next building, next door, so maybe it shouldn't slow it down that much if it's only, because there's still parking there, so it's only it'd be like one of the spots not there.
No.
And also further down Pleasant Valley Way, now there's a large stripe that allows parking, but usually no cars are there, and cars are not going in that striped area, so that's a way to calm traffic as well.
Exactly.
Okay.
Your points are well taken. I'm just trying to explain it. What's
Yeah, no, I get it, but.
Councilman.
Yeah, if Councilwoman is finished, I just have
Yes,
some
I
issues.
am. Thank
Okay,
you.
great. Thanks. I just asked to get an update on anything that might be going on with the Essex Green Executive Drive redevelopment area. Is there any news since the last council meeting?
No, nothing.
I think the application by Essex Green for improvements is working its way through, I guess, the planning process and the planning board. I think there was a hearing. Did that complete the hearing, or is it?
I don't know if it was. I mean, I didn't go to the hearing. It was only the first hearing. Yeah, so I don't think it was complete. I mean, you're on the board.
It's not before planning, it's before zoning, and there was a preliminary meeting.
sorry.
And, no, that's okay. Reports have been filed, so that was what Chairman Brick was talking about, that we had a meeting last night. The forester has weighed in. The engineer met with members of the Environmental Commission to talk about other green features, which are on our checklist that they are considering. So it's very preliminary.
Okay, so there hasn't been a date set for the actual zoning board or planning board consideration?
It'll be back on the next, whenever the third Thursday of November is. Yeah, November 15th. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. How about, is there anything new on the Legionnaires, I can't ever pronounce it.
Legionella.
Thank you. Anything new on the Legionella?
Finished up our last 3 buildings, the 2 firehouses and the one at Lafayette Park. Most of everything is completed, and we're now, as I said at the last meeting, we're going to be talking about what we can do moving forward to make sure everything stays the way it's supposed to stay.
Okay.
We still have some filters that we're dealing with also. Yeah.
There's still additional work to be done?
Work that's been contemplated.
Thank you.
Work that has been contemplated, but hasn't been completed yet.
Okay.
Remediation of some of this building stuff.
Well, no, we finished the 3 buildings. I got those today. The 2 firehouses and Lafayette Park.
There's still some work left in this building that hasn't been completed. Some plumbing work.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
And Jack, we still have to put in place a regular schedule on these inspections.
Yes, and that's going to be a cost. And
Speaking of costs,
we're going to need to talk about that.
are we still incurring costs? Do we have a better idea of how much everything's going to cost at this point?
Incur costs every single day. We have an idea of how big the breadbasket could get, but we don't know how big it is yet.
Okay. And also errands.
Yes.
Aaron's
Thank
is
you.
actually doing very well.
Yes.
I don't know if you went by there.
Yeah, I did.
We met with them last week and basically explained to them what needed to be done and why it should be done. And 2 days later, most of the work was done.
Yeah.
They've completed basically everything we've asked them to do, except for a couple things. We're still waiting on the elevator in the building, and we're still waiting on the sound system has been rectified, and they're now doing something over and above what we had asked them to do. And that hopefully will be completed by Friday. So we'll
Thank
see.
you. It looks cleaned up. Thank you. Thank you
And
for
they
the
moved
work.
the garbage
Mhm.
dumpsters up against the building. They got everything out. They cleaned the trees out, all the garbage. They did a pretty good
Great,
job.
good.
Very good job.
We'll work on the sound abatement.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they did
Great.
very, very well.
Yeah, the noise,
About
excuse me,
time.
the noise has cut down tremendously.
Yeah, and they haven't even completed what they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, they did something immediately to get that noise down. Now they're working on finishing up, I think they're changing some motors inside the what do you call them?
Refrigeration?
Yeah, the refrigeration plate. They're going to change out some motors and hopefully have that completed by Friday.
Yeah.
So I just heard from Rabbi Zwickler. He sent me a couple of pictures, and the back parking area looked pristine, like you could, now you could eat off of the asphalt. So it looks really improved from some of the bad pictures we've seen in recent weeks.
It's 100% better.
Yes. But I don't know precisely what's been done on the sound and the noise system. I know the neighbors are not here tonight, so I think that's a good sign. But do you know anything more? It sounds like some of my colleagues know a little bit more about the sound.
Why, oh, excuse me, Councilman, only because I physically have gone there. I made it a point to stop in there a couple times a week or even different times during the day.
For the sushi?
No, actually do a drive-through.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Because I'm always going over in that direction, so it's just, I just turned in the parking lot, and I've, just listening to it. A few times I go around the corner, and from the street side, we listen, and it's like a slight hum now, that if you're in the back of the parking lot, you really can't hear.
I had a conversation with them today, and they had said to me they were now bringing in, actually they got all the equipment, and now what they're going to do is install it between now and Friday, which has to do with the motors inside the system.
So at this point, there's no need for any sort of enforcement actions or a notice of violation or anything like that?
I do not, I would say no.
Okay, I think that's great. I know everybody had wanted this to happen sooner rather than later, but it sounds like it's well underway. So
It's going in the right direction now.
okay, great.
Ken, were you going to add to that comment?
I really don't want to add to it.
Okay.
Great work.
But thank you
Ken was
for
at the
getting
meeting
involved.
with us, so
I
having
know,
our
thank you
lawyer
for
there
getting.
helped a lot, I can tell you. That helped a lot.
Yes, thank
It
you.
helped a lot,
Well, we couldn't do that. We didn't do that.
but it was good. It worked out
Thank
well.
you. Okay, Madam Clerk? Can we do the ABC hearing and then,
Yes.
right, go into executive session
Yep.
afterwards?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. We're going to say goodnight as Town Council, and we look forward to seeing everyone at Veterans Day, Monday, November 12th, 11 o'clock. Thank you.
Right.